Where's the bridge? So how does it now? I'm fully convinced that as human beings, we're always gonna find some opposition.
Yeah.
Because it's just human nature to my side, your side, whatever the argument is, so that I can work on making myself better to beat whatever your side is.
Yeah.
So you take whatever it is, tall, short, light skin, dark skin.
We're always looking for something to just be like, I'm not the worst.
Yeah.
In this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
and
like,
then make sure my team beats your team, whatever team I'm choosing at that exact moment, right? But for something like right now, especially in like the country that we live in, like it's I love the people that are like, the country's never been more divided. What about the whole Civil War thing?
Well, it was that, yeah.
Now you straight from the south side. Mike, now you. I'm just so happy to be here right now. Real Rap Podcast.
I feel like right now, because I've had some, they're like, oh, hopefully, someone takes out Trump, which I'm like, one, that doesn't help anything. That doesn't help anything or anyone. Like, because at the end of the day, then what, like, when he had the assassination attempt, I was like, fuck you. Like, it was just, one, had you succeeded, that wouldn't have made anything better.
It would have made it worse. He would have been a martyr.
Then they would have lost their minds and all that stuff. Even though it was a Trump supporter, they don't care.
Yeah.
But there's just a certain point where I'm like, there's a sickness in the world, and the sickness is global at this point, and it's because we've made a global economy, and now everything is too expensive everywhere.
Yeah.
And because these companies are now so international, their decision to not pay their workers more now affects the entire world.
That's so odd to me that they'll do the back in my day, a movie was a nickel. Because a car was $1.25.
Right.
They raise the price of the car, and then they raise how much they pay you. So in essence, it's still a nickel.
Yeah.
And a car's still $1.25. We just put more zeros on it. One goes up, then the next has to go up, then the next has to go up.
And then somewhere like 50 years ago, they said, we're done with that raising the wages part, and everything else will raise. Like, we'll incrementally raise your wage, but we're going to skyrocket everything else.
That's all coming to an end, because just today, this morning, I saw a ridiculously believable Tupac Shakur walking down the street with Fidel Castro and Michael Jackson, and I was like, yeah, I have 2 more weekends before I can't tell at all whatsoever.
Oh yeah, no, the AI is getting too good, and people keep going like, oh, it's gonna really save everything. It's like, no, AI is going to make it so that instead of having 15 people doing a job, you have one person making sure that 15 AI bots are doing their job. And so it's like, but what are we gonna do for those people that are going to inevitably get laid off?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's going to create more jobs. It's like, but what are the jobs going to be? No one talks about that.
I was just out in L.A., and it's got to be coming here any second. I was just out in L.A. a couple of weekends ago. The self-driving cars. Mm-hmm. They don't look weird, because that's just the time that we're living in.
They're in Phoenix too. Where they have that little helicopter thing above them going
around.
Yeah.
And the little spinny whoop-de-doos on the back. And I was like, I'm amazed that I'm not amazed. Mm-hmm. I'm at the Laugh Factory, and the little I've got your burritos bot is just trucking down the street.
The thing is, like, the technology, the technology isn't new. Like the idea, like the self-driving car came out like as prototypes back when I was coming out of high school. Like I remember seeing the videos of it, and like they could go around like these huge obstacle tracks, and they could do it at high speeds, and you're just like, fuck. And like, but they just never commercialized it. Now they're finally commercializing it, so it's kind of like we all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I like the idea of a self-driving car if they just like give everyone a self-driving car, and it's just like it would be kind of cool if you're just like out at a bar someplace, and you're just like, I'm just gonna text my car to come here, and then it just comes and grabs you. You just fall asleep in the back, and it takes you home.
Who even eats bones anymore? Just leave me a little
no more
a
DUIs.
little Jello puddle on the ground and just feed me
like
visuals
Wall-E.
and whatnot. And I don't.
Like
there's
Wall-E.
no reason.
Wall-E was a good movie.
I haven't seen it because I refused to cry after I hit 40, and I heard that's one of those movies. I watched Short Circuit back when I was a little kid. That's enough.
No, I didn't. I don't think at any point I found Wall-E sad, but I watched it because
if it's one of those, if it's a Disney computer animated movie, or what's the one that made Toy Story? If it comes out of if it's a Pixar, it's designed to make you cry.
Yeah, but like I feel like when I was watching it was because my ex-boyfriend at the time had a little sister, like a baby sister. So anytime we're like, okay, what do you want to watch? She was just like, Wall-E! And just like, and like we had all seen it so many times at this point. I don't think any of us had actually watched it all the way through because we would always leave at a certain point. So we saw everything, but in like snaps.
Before 1999, because I'm 14 years older than my brother, any Disney/Pixar movie up to 1999, I have an encyclopedic memory of, because I'm babysitting my brother and he's just watching the tape over and over, and you accept it because it's like he's stuck right there. That's perfect.
Well, I mean, I used to do that. I would watch Batman, and we would watch it as many times as I could before we had to return it to Blockbuster. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, well, I got it, and we're gonna get all the old references, all the shit that you say, and Gen Z goes, what?
There is something to be said about walking into a brick building and then going to the wall because you know the new, because Face Off just came out.
And
you go
and Fast and the Furious and everything, and like the whole family wanted to see it, and you had to go quick.
And you see the big wall that has 30 copies of the same movie, and there's not one.
Right.
There's not one thing behind the front thing.
Yeah, and you would like, okay, maybe next week, and you'd have to sit there, and you would be like, well, we have to go right after school, Dad.
Right after school,
or else we're not going to be able to see that movie we want to watch.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to see it in theaters, but we said no, so now we waited. So now today,
that was back when like the thing. I think that still happens, right? Where it like comes out and nobody cares about it, and then it goes on streaming, and one quirky kid in Albuquerque finds it, and they're like they post it on a thing, and now it blows up months later.
I mean, isn't that kind of how? I mean, that's kind of how Schitt's Creek worked. Like it was like
Tiger
silent King. When it first. Well, Tiger King. That is. Then we're all just home. And it was like Carol Baskin, Ladies Crazy.
Why is this important? I tried to hold out from watching that for as long as possible, but then I'm around everybody else's conversation like, oh, I can't participate? Fine, I'll watch this hunk of garbage.
I don't think I watched it all the way through, but I watched a lot of it. And I was just like, this is very good. It's also very ridiculous.
It is over the top. So, all right. So, what is that? Can you be a stable-minded person and do
Own tigers?
anything?
No.
Oh yeah. No,
I don't think, because that's. I mean, what was your actual question?
No, owning tigers. So there's a Tony's right behind here. I shit you not. 8 months ago, I'm minding my business. I'm driving. I'm hitting the corner, about to hit the alley to come here. I saw Hombre. Call him Jose Cuervo. Whatever his name is close enough. And he's in the beat up red truck that you can see in your mind with the appropriate amount of junk in the flatbread, and riding shotgun with him. Teenage Tiger.
Wow.
And he just kept going about he just went on with the rest of his life. He's probably either still alive or in a toilet somewhere because that teenage tiger turned into a grown-up tiger. It was not the proper tiger transportation is what I'm telling you.
You know, I mean, honestly, I don't think you're legally allowed to keep a tiger, are you?
I don't think he stole it from the zoo.
Well, there are ways to get a tiger.
It was just what it was.
If you have the money to do it.
Can I tell you, Queenie, if it was an H3 Hummer and I saw a tiger in the back, I'd say, they're doing something official. They're on their way to a video shoot.
Yeah.
That's it. It was, you go to Home Depot, right?
But not a very high budget video shoot because they still had a Hummer.
Because they still had a Hummer, right? But if you were to go to you see a beat up red truck and you see Juan driving it, 36 to 53, you can't tell the difference. He looks the same age, eternally.
Yeah.
And just boom, shotgun. Tiger.
I mean, it's crazy. But I could also, I feel like if you're going to have a tiger, nothing else in your house could be nice. Because you spent all of your money on it.
You know what?
That's where you spend all the money.
You might be rich as hell, but when you're transporting a tiger,
you don't want to have a beat up car.
You don't want to put it in your leather
claws.
seat.
Yeah.
It's just
or you're just everything else in your house has to be breakable. And you're just well, I could have something nice, but the tiger.
House cats piss stinks like another planet's atmosphere. I have no idea what it would be like for the upkeep on a tiger.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I feel like you would have to train it to go outside.
Oh my gosh.
And then just get used to not having grass.
Yeah. And then it leaps your 15-foot fence like it was.
There's nothing you can do to keep that tiger in if it really wants to.
No, not at all.
Well, that's the other thing. You can't let it out because it will get out.
Not even a little bit.
No, there's no way. Our tigers aren't good climbers, though, are they?
I'm not going to be the person to find out.
Okay. Well, you should really have had this prepared.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm never prepared, but we are back. Another episode of the Real Rap Podcast, episode 60-something. We're in the high 60s. You already know I don't remember what episode we're on, but I will remember for 70. I don't think you're 70. But anyway, another esteemed colleague on the Chicago comedy scene. Queenie, and did you change your stage name? Is it still Queenie Bitch or?
I'm never gonna change it from the Queenie Bitch,
sure.
But I generally.
But if you
got to
do a corporate
Queenie.
gig, so we're just going by Queenie.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, subscribe, tune in for more. We've been talking for not as long as normal, but we're gonna hop back in the middle of our conversation. And one thing of note is that you are an esteemed comedian from New York, Reginald.
Not a lot of self-esteem. Other people say things.
No, not from New York, but I think that's the first time we actually started vibing out. We were on a stage.
It was a joke that we said at my apartment, at my old crack house apartment.
You don't stay there anymore?
No, thank God. I got out of there. But
what neighborhood was that?
That was, I think it was Bucktown.
Okay.
I think it was Bucktown. But yeah, we're sitting over there, and it was you, me, Kyron Harrell, and one other. And then it was my old roommate, and then this dude that was just staying with us, who was just a total idiot.
Yes.
And
I think a bowl of resin made an appearance.
Oh yeah, we had dabs. So we were moving dabs around because I used to smoke dabs, and now these days I'm absolutely not.
Oh God,
those
are for
teenage
tearing
out
lungs.
my throat. It was tearing out my throat because my logic with it was but you only take one. Instead of smoking all day.
Yeah, and then you're zooted for a month and a half.
It's but that thermal burn that you get off of that one
bronchitis in the breath
is so much worse.
Yeah. Nah, because I think the first time we really started connecting, which is tried and true, I think, for any twist the knob right over there.
Oh, that knob. You think as a gay I would know how knobs work?
Yeah, it might be. But I think my favorite way to connect with a comedian is talking shit about other comedian. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that night we had a gig together. Ed Towns was just getting trashed. But we're going to dedicate the next 45 minutes.
I just did my CYSK debut.
Just
too.
to Ed Towns' hair. No, I think we had saw a New York comedian on stage doing the So I'm from New York, and by the way, there's subways in New York, and when you take the subway to New York, it goes to a pizza place, New York.
Let me tell you, and not just a pizza place.
By the way, this isn't New York.
Place in the world.
So your pizza isn't as good as the best pizza in the world, which is New York.
Yeah, basically. And you guys are just a suburb of New York. It's just so now it's a 3-year-old joke that
it is about a 3-year-old joke.
It will not die.
I refuse to.
20 years from now, we're gonna be like, so New York.
By the way, if I go do a gig out of the state, I'm the first one to be like, so Chicago, you guys aren't Chicago, but let me tell you about Chicago. That's where I'm coming from, Chicago and comedy.
So the blue line. Let me tell you about the blue line. I forget who it was. They said a joke about something with the blue line. I was like, that's really funny. Unfortunately, you can only tell it here.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of Chicago specific material that I'm in love with, but I'm like, it just wouldn't translate.
Yeah. And like anything I do and talk about Malort, and then I have to find a funny disclaimer to tell them what Malort is.
Yeah.
So, because I can't just be like, I was taking a shot of Malort over in some random town.
Yeah.
Like some of the near cities know. You know, like if you're in Wisconsin or you're in Indiana, they've heard of it. It's close enough.
Yeah, they'll get it.
Yeah, but if you're like over in New York, like they'll be like, they will not have it at the bar.
No.
There's no way they're going to have it at the bar. And if they do, it's because someone from Chicago works at the bar.
Yeah.
And they're like, we found a way to source it. And it's just like, but like you'll say it and like they've maybe heard the lore, but they've never tried it, or they came to Chicago once and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with you psychos.
Yeah. Oh, you're an out-of-towner. Well, let me tell you what you need.
The best part about Malort is you have to, if you're a bartender, you have to play along. So if someone's trying to trick their friend into drinking Malort, there's like an unspoken rule as a bartender. You can never.
You have to really play it up.
You can't warn them.
No, not at all.
So we'll be sitting there and be like, no, you're really gonna like it. It's really sweet, and it tastes just like Jameson.
And there's like movie vibes. Everybody in the bars, like their conversation starts to quiet down, and they all just kind of peer over.
We did that over at Frank's bar over on Clark Street. They're closed now, rest in peace. But like the bartender heard us doing it, and it was just like, okay.
Are you sure you want to?
Yeah, like you could see her going, I should warn this. Never mind.
Yeah.
I know where I work. This is a thing.
Yeah, it's the little. You just. What do they call that? It's not hazing or whatever. It's like a little bit
of
haze.
initiation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a rite of passage. Like you kind of like if you're gonna be in Chicago, there has to be at least a day. Where you take a shot of Malort. You don't have to have a second one, right? But you have to at least try.
You have to. Oh, you've been on the wagon for 17 years. Well, you just got to Chicago today.
Well, we're gonna relapse you for a second. Don't worry, we'll support you when you get back
this
on.
is not gonna put you back. Trust me. Worry. No.
Well, I mean, it really does fight alcoholism because you can taste it for like 10 to 15 minutes afterwards. So then you don't want another shot because they're.
I was gonna start describing it, but then that's kind of against the rules of it.
Oh, I always describe it. It's like I always say because everyone comes up with some weird, crazy thing. Because back when I was managing in fine dining, you'd always have people from out of town come in and say, "You have to try this thing.
It's like soggy licorice."
Well, they're like it's basically they're like it's like a baby's diaper. Wrapped in a car tire, both of them are on fire, and everyone's crying. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Do you always describe it like Trump Jr.?
Well, yeah, that's what they sound like to me. That's what affluent white people sound like to me. And they're like, I'm just like, no, none of that's correct. Because like I actually like Malort, and like most people who are food and beverage people, like specialists within the service industry, tend to be pretty okay with Malort.
So you're just numb to it.
Well, it tastes a lot like Fernet and Amaro without any of the complexity or elegance. Like normally with those are very bitter and are meant to be bitter, but they have balancing aspects. Whereas Malort just says fuck you to all the balancing aspects. So for me, it's sweet grapefruit at the front, and then goes right into like very, very bitter peel with a little bit of nail polish remover to finish
Like you
off.
watch those Top Chef shows with like a notebook and a pen.
No, I can't watch them at all because they just make me go into work mode. I'm sitting there, it's like, what do you mean? Why is the stock on the top shelf? Who put that there?
How long did you work in the food industry?
16 years.
All right, so you're an Anthony Bourdain fan, I take it, right?
I mean, Anthony Bourdain.
Blasphemy.
Well, I mean, because he was like he was going around teaching food and stuff, but like I was working in the industry. So for me, like I didn't watch food shows.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to watch food shows. I didn't want to watch the chef stuff. Like I watched Hell's Kitchen until I started working in real kitchens. And then same thing with like Bar Rescue. I was a huge fan until I actually started managing spots. And then at a certain point, like once you get like into a certain level of the industry, it's like anything like that, you're just sitting there like, I'm already in this environment.
I get
for
it.
12 hours a day.
I get it. I need to peel away and do something else.
Yeah.
I read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, and it just like kind of pulled the curtain back. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's what's going on back there!" And now every time I'm at a restaurant,
all of it's real.
I'm looking at the chef door like, "Oh, there's a whole."
Well, that's why I can't watch The Bear. Is I still have not watched The Bear. I've watched the first couple episodes, but Bob Keane watched it, and he was telling me, he was just like, "Yo, dude, buckle up," because he's like, if you've worked in fine dining, it's gonna be a trigger.
Absolutely.
And because he's like, it's too accurate. You know, like I had and they're like, oh, that's not what it's like, because there's not enough Mexicans. I was like, honestly, I was like, I get what you're saying, because normally in neighborhood, like casual spots, yes, the entire kitchen is Latino. But
if I go to a sushi place and I see Hispanics or Latinos behind the thing, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. But then you go into like fine dining.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of art students. Most of them are white. You get some black, maybe a couple. You will have Hispanics, but they are not the majority by any means. And it becomes a lot more like diverse along with it. But like, it's just like
that's
when
like
I look
there's
at
plating and like the little splashes
exactly,
and flair.
smears and stuff.
Can I ask you a question? You hit on something just now. How is Bob King still alive?
Oh, well, I mean, he's hanging on by a thread. I don't think
he's indestructible.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, he's too evil to die. I think he's filled with so many microplastics now that he's just preserved. And like, weirdly, no one would think this, but the dude actually eats well. Because he cooks.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Like he cooks, like, and I mean well as in like he's healthy. Like
he has the fortitude of a South Asian, like cockroach. Like he will not die.
He just drinks a shit ton. And like, so that's the main thing. Like, it was like, why does Bob Keane seem so unhealthy? It's because he drinks like a fish.
Yeah.
But then you go to his house and he's cooking. It's like, it's lots of veggies. It's like very well balanced. And like the dude, like you can tell he worked in the industry for years because and he actually like really likes to cook. Like at one point, because I'm vegetarian, well, I'm vegan now, but at the time I was vegetarian. And so I was like, yeah, like, I mean, you can like cook what you want, but just know I'm vegetarian. And like, so I'm fine if you just make a side for me.
Gotcha.
And he was like, oh, no. We're going to do the whole thing. So he makes this like Indian, like 5 different dishes that he then put into the center like you would in an Indian restaurant with the paneer and everything else, and like rice on the side and the whole thing. And they're like 5 very individual different things, each one seasoned and spiced to perfection.
Ooh.
And I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, dude.
And then he walks outside and just face plants into the nearest sidewalk,
and then just breaks his nose a month before his wedding.
So that said, what is, and explain it to me like I went to high school for 5 years and 2 summers. What is being vegan, and why does it make you think you're better than everybody?
Because you are, is the main thing. You are morally superior to everyone around you. So I would say like there's a lot of different reasons that people do it. Like a lot of people do it from like a moralistic standpoint, which was not my reasoning for doing it. Mine was a health.
Oh, so you don't care about your food having a face or a family?
No, the only reason I got my cats is because I thought they were tender. But it was like I really. Like, I mean, I love animals. That's the thing, you know.
Sure.
Like, I don't like factory farming. I don't like the things that go along with that. I went vegetarian because I was at the Waldorf, and I was the food they had in the cafeteria was just abysmal. Like, it was just a bunch of like heavy like chicken with gravies after gravy after gravy. And one time they did like 3 hotel pans of different flavors of chicken wings. And even the people who were eating meat were like, "Are you trying to kill us before this shift? Like, we're working like 13-hour days.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous."
Yeah.
And they would not listen to reason. So I eventually had to just go vegetarian just so I could avoid that and just have the energy to get through my day. And they're like, "Okay, we'll make you a vegetarian thing. It's mac and cheese." I was just like, "Screw you." And then, but then I was vegetarian for 8 years, and I went vegan because I was just realizing it's like, yeah, but I'm still finding ways to just like eat all cheese and eggs. And like, so I'm like still not eating well. And so like veganism was finally just like okay, let me just kind of get rid of all the things that are just creating oxidative stress on my body.
What's the square root of vegan? If you had 30 seconds to tell me what a vegan diet is, what would it be?
Oh, just no animal products at all.
None at all.
Yeah.
No eggs, milk.
You don't do honey. You don't do eggs. You don't do milk. Any meats. Really, so like if I'm doing if I were to do a protein shake, I can't do whey because that's a dairy byproduct. You know, so yeah, so it's, I mean,
So you have to do like the plant-based proteins or whatever.
yeah, which is fine because I mean, and really that's the fun thing is then everyone's just like, so how do you get your protein? It's like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of a protein deficiency anywhere in America? It doesn't actually, it's not real. You know, like if you eat the right amount of calories that you need to survive, you will also get the amount of protein you need to survive.
That's a fair
But then
point.
you need to then figure out is like, because there's a certain point where you need to, yes, you are like, you have to get like a diverse diet because not everything's a complete protein. But then for the most part, like if you were trying to then be a little stronger with like, hey, I'm trying to like actually like bodybuild or build muscle, then you have to be a little bit more deliberate about it. But I think that's just kind of with everyone. Like most people
are
aren't
like,
really
have you ever seen a silverback gorilla, bro? They're vegan. They're vegetarian. They get enough protein.
Well, like elephants, like elephant, like like literally all the biggest animals in the world, with the biggest and strongest animals in the world are plant eaters. You know, so it's just like, and there's a lot of vegans who are, you know, like very like they build muscle, they do all the other stuff. But I will say my energy has been a lot better since I did it.
No kidding.
But I'm also one of the people where I'm like, I don't like that's my thing.
But if you have
Like,
gas, it has to clear 3 city blocks. No.
I would say it's. I mean, yeah, you might be more gassy, but I would say the
Those
actual
cauliflower,
the actual smell of it is, I would say, better.
More pleasant.
It's not good. It's never going to be good.
If once in a blue I go out and try and have like a McDonald's or like a Wendy's, oh, the smell is like, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a certain
Uncle
point
Sam.
where you're just like, wow, I don't remember eating rotten eggs.
Yeah.
But apparently.
But apparently, so you mentioned the Waldorf, right? We're not going to use the Waldorf as an example because they're not a sponsor of the show, and then we do not also cast aspersions on any corporation, LLC, and or
I
S
have
corp.
so much to say. We called
so-
it the Walmart Astoria. when we worked
So
there.
we'll call it. So let's say if perhaps you were in the industry for 10 to 15 years working at the Moldorf. What
Or the
me as
Ritz
a,
Carlton, or whatever.
or the Kitz Ralton.
Yeah.
Sure. Me as a consumer, the things that I wouldn't ever know. What are some of these things like, hey, don't sleep on if you see this on the bed, don't sleep on it. Hey, if they're serving eggs in the morning, it's really the eggs from the last night.
At the Waldorf, you're not dear, or the Baldorf, or the Haldorf, Saldorf,
At the Balderdash.
Yeah, at that place. Most of that is actually pretty well maintained, I would say. The thing is, housekeeping is going to make mistakes
By
with your
mistakes.
stuff. Like they're gonna forget to do things. They're gonna leave you 2 left slippers. They're gonna do like little things, which really is only an issue when you're talking about like Forbes listings.
Okay.
Because Forbes comes in and that's a big deal because they'll take away a star. You know,
because they have like the Secret Santas or whatever.
Yeah, so they come in, the secret shoppers, and you know when they're there. You don't know who the person is.
Okay.
So, but they're going in, they're evaluating all of your facilities, top to bottom, and they give you a full report of everything that was missed. So they you're basically operating year round as if these people are here. So, I mean, the main thing that people don't know, I think, about the Waldorf is, or just luxury hotels in general, is everyone's on drugs. Like, it's just the amount of stuff. It's just the fact that, like, if you want to see what a cocaine habit looks like, you can go there. You'll find it out.
You're saying this
quickly.
is a Chicago comedian.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It's a real thing. It's worse there, I would say. And you had people that would leave their shifts so they could go fuck in the stairwell. Like there's like just crazy stuff. Like, hey, where's Kevin? Well,
you don't see Suzanne, do you?
I would say just careful going up the stairs.
Oh yeah,
you know, like it's crazy stuff like that. You know, if you're
are you guys sleeping in like room 202?
No. Strict rules against. Like you would get fired immediately if they found out about it. But generally, with empty rooms, what you can do is because they will rent those out. Well, they give it out to employees because like it's under Hilton, so they'll give it to other Hilton employees. So and you can go to their hotels. So like we all kind of like you can get it like for. Like Waldorf, I think it was $75 a night, which isn't bad.
That's
and
not
then
bad.
like because like normally it's like $500 to $1,000
I was about to say,
for people.
yeah.
And then normal like the normal level hotels, so like a Homewood Suites I think was $35 a night. The regular style like a regular Hilton was like $45, and that's like for me and. That's like for me and up to 7 other people. So if I'm going on a big family vacation, as long as I'm present, we can get like a couple rooms for each $45 a night. It was really nice.
Now we're talking about the Boulder Dash, so that's like up there, right? But you didn't come into the industry right in the pinnacle.
That was the only hotel I ever worked at.
No kidding. You didn't have to like start off at La Quinta Inn? Or?
No, I was the general manager for a high-end spot out in the suburbs before that, and I was also like their wine director and sommelier. So I had worked in the industry at that point, I think for 12 years.
Yeah.
When I went to the Waldorf. It was like five interviews in one day. And they're just like, okay, now you gotta go talk to this guy. Now you go talk to this guy. Now you go to, and it was just like back to back, and they were just asking me questions, and I just knew the answers.
Oh, nice.
We're just talking about our ethics of service and like how we feel about these different things. They asked me a couple things to like really. Like say, okay, so how's your wine knowledge? And I said, it's good. And they asked me a couple questions like wine specific, and I got the answer. And they're like, okay, great.
What are some of the characters you see? So if you're working at a place like the Waldorf, then there's traveling, there's dignitaries, there's CEOs, there's this, that, and the third coming in.
Prince Andrew.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then we didn't know about the Epstein files yet, but we did his service.
Was he with Princess Andrew or somebody else?
No, he was on his own. We did.
So you have to be like hush hush. So if somebody of
we had to
VIP,
call him HRH.
If some, of course that, and then if somebody of high status is within your, ex-president, this, whoever, this, that, and the third, and you've seen them on TV, and it's like, oh, that person's very married.
Oh, there's celebrities like crazy. And you would. You would definitely have people where you're like, I'm pretty sure that's not your wife.
Who's going into your room?
Yeah, like you're like, and it was because I worked in the restaurant, so I would see them coming in, and then some other person would come by, and you're just like, I absolutely know. Oh, that is not your wife.
So, without saying any names, do you have any?
I'll say the names. I want to say the names.
then by all means.
I am not under contract.
I'm trying to get these clicks.
I've been gone for a while.
Do you remember any stories that stick out in particular?
So, I mean, we served a lot of celebrities. I mean, I had like Sean Penn came to sit at the bar.
Who was a dirtball hunk of garbage?
Kanye. 100%.
I'm not surprised.
Kanye. He came in, only wants orange highlighters for the dictionary that he used in the thesaurus that he has.
He's one of those?
Yeah. And he was just like, so we had the guy who was like the head of group sales, and which is just the guy who does all the celebrities and stuff. Really great guy, but he would just treat him like he was his like personal concierge. And we're just like, ugh. Like, okay. So he would come down and he would like tell us like the horror stories of stuff, and we're just like, and then the other staff who had to deal with him did the same thing. But like you would have to have an alias for them. You could never use their name. So like for him it was Mr. Crawley.
Mr. Crawley?
Yeah, he was in an extended stay for us. So he was there for months. And we were like, great. But like the coolest ones, like we had Chris Evans.
Captain America.
Yeah, so he was really cool. I did his service personally. He was really nice.
He seems like one of those guys. Like he has everything. American Pie, and he's cool.
Well, it was funny because he wasn't staying at the hotel. His family was just in town, and he was in town. So they just showed up in the hotel lounge in the bar. And then, so we're just doing their service like nothing. And then all of a sudden he just walks in and sits down at the table with them. And you're like, oh, okay. And they're being like indiscreet. They're over there just like, so Marvel or DC?
Yeah, right.
And like just totally like is saying all the stuff, you know.
He walked in with a shield on his back.
Oh, right. And like it was just like, so you could just like, I mean, I was like giving him shit. I was like playing around with him because it was like give me a beer that you like, whatever. And I told him, I was like, okay, cool. So I got him one of the ones that we had. They're just in the bottle. We only had like 3 beers, but like, so it's like, here you go. And the next one he's like, yeah. And I was like, no, give me another one. Surprise me. You know, I like the one you got me though before. I was like, okay, cool. So again, they come back. He's like, so what'd you get me? He's like, well, you know, my mother did teach me every once in a while it's good to listen. So I got you the beer you had asked for, sir. And so he was like, they're all laughing and fine. Like he was so easy.
That's a cool person.
Yeah.
Was there any celebrities you remember that were just horrendous tippers?
I generally wasn't getting tipped because I was the manager, because I couldn't, because we were a union house, so I couldn't accept anything. Generally, they were all pretty good. I remember Sacha Baron Cohen was a bit of a dick.
Seems like he's a bit off anyway.
I mean, he wasn't, and it wasn't anything like he was like trying to be a dick. He just wasn't interested. And like the other people that he was with, because this was actually not when I was at Waldorf. This was when I was at Galit, which is another just Michelin star spot. And so I was, you know, running their service, and there I was actually their server. I don't remember if they tipped well, but I do remember that it was initially supposed to be an Israeli restaurant. They said we're going to call it Middle Eastern before it even opened, and this was before everything's going on now. But like it was still a hot button thing, as it has been for a long time. So like we're just going to call it Middle Eastern so that everyone can just be happy here. You know, let's just get rid of that. And we're like, okay, cool. And so he spent a lot of time in Tel Aviv, so he knows the menu. But I'm like, yeah, but your friends don't, and you told me you need to get out of here by 10. Right. And I said, do you mean like you need to be like leaving like around 10? Is like, no, like we're shooting, we need to leave at 10. Like, oh, okay, cool, got you. And so then Sacha Baron Cohen walks in and he just won't stop talking during the time where I need to like explain how the menu is set up. And so eventually I was just like, I'm gonna let you finish your conversation in just a moment if you just give me a second here.
Did he take the cue?
Yeah. And I was like, but I don't like that I had to shut you up, but you know, fine. But he was actually it was while he was filming Chicago 7.
Okay.
And so Eddie Redmayne was at the table with him.
Okay.
Eddie Redmayne, nicest person you'll ever meet. like just a sweetheart of an individual. Like every time anything came down to the table, he would break from the whatever conversation was being had to go look over and just say thank you so much. Like,
and you can have, who knows, Sasha might have been having a bad day, might have needed to get that information.
I called Waldorf afterwards, and they're like, because I knew he was staying there, and I was like, I knew he was likely staying there. Turns out he was, and they're like, yeah, he's been kind of an asshole here too.
Because manners, I don't. Yeah, you either have them or don't. And
I think he's
a long way.
I think he's a good person. I think he's just used to being famous and everyone kind of wanting to bother him all the time. And there's just a certain point where like when you know everyone's there trying to bother you, but like you're like, I just want to get up to my room. I just got stuff to do. Like I'm literally like I'm working a job right now. So like there's a certain point where I'm like, I get it, but me as the person who has to interact with you, who isn't one of those people who's bothering you, like I just need the respect.
Plus, I mean, to try and I don't know firsthand, of course, but the world of entertainment he created for himself, being anti-establishment and trolling for a large degree, the energy that comes back from you making millions and getting fame off of being a troll, you're getting troll back. From your supporters,
but
which
I will say,
that has to be a mental and emotional jail cell.
But I will have to say that like as much as I was annoyed with him in the moment, the man's a freaking genius.
Oh, he's up there.
Like every time I see him, he does anything. I'm just like, God, that guy's good though.
I've been watching. I was literally living in. I lived in England for a time, and I lived in Japan for a time, and I was watching when he was Ali G and all that. You know, I was getting it there because people were into somebody trolling America's culture in a foreign country. So I was watching, but I'm not the biggest fan of prank phone call humor.
Yeah.
But he is a legitimate genius, and when he stays in, I've seen other stuff that he does, and he stays in character, and he's interacting with people, and it's like, oh, this guy's operating on a different level. Yeah. Because you have to like, he can't even like think he's being a person. He has to embody the person, and then react the way a completely different. It's like, oh, you're kind of crazy. Yeah,
the amount of characters he has,
and
how completely unrecognizable they are. To him is nuts. Like when he did the one with Bernie Sanders, and he had he was playing this big fat guy who is like in a motorized wheelchair and he's just doing it's like, really, you just need to put the one, instead of trying to get rid of the 1%, you just put the 99% in the 1%, and then you take the 1%, then you take the 99%, you put that in the 1%, and that's 100% right there. And like keeps going, and then there's a certain point, because the whole point of he was doing this like sketch series where he kept doing this to like different
the thing,
big
he keeps
people.
going
And keeps doing it. But it's brilliant because he kept doing it, and like the thing was he was getting them like it only gets as crazy as you'll let it get.
Because people will play along with nonsense just to go along.
Yeah. It was like a test. So like Bernie passed because at a certain point Bernie just said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was funny because he's like, no, I'm here to talk about a real thing. And if you're not making sense, then we're not going to do that. Whereas the other guy was like a gun nut, and he got him like, we need to get guns into like preschools, right? And the guy was like, in the hands of the kids, like we need to arm these kids. And then like as a joke, like obviously we're not going to do this, but then he's just saying is like, I'm going to let you agree if you want to agree. And the guy is like full ham, let's go. Yeah. So he's like, well, let's make a commercial for it. And maybe you put it in like a little stuffed animal, and you have their hand in it, and you tell them it's a puppet, and then like if you get scared, you just give it a little squeeze, and the guy's like, oh my God, this is great. Yeah. And he went all the way, never at any point. So it was like at the end, if you didn't break and just be like, look, this is stupid, then he would just put at the end of the video, it'd be like, fail.
And the craziest part is that guy had to sign over like a I agree to let you use this material.
They probably did that before. They probably signed the release before
you had mentioned the Middle East. Do you have a take on the Riyadh Comedy Festival?
Strange. Strange that somewhere that has that much censorship is going to have a comedy festival. I'm like, are you turning a corner? Which I know they're not. But like,
You don't think you don't think
seems-
it's a step towards that direction?
I don't know. I think it's kind of them just trying to make some money off of a thing. I think there might be
The prince, the crown prince.
Well, I don't know.
Mohammed
I
bin
mean, I don't know. I don't
Salman.
know.
I
how
don't know
the-
if he needs money.
I don't know if he needs money. I don't know how the country's doing, but I don't know. It's like that's a weird thing to me because I know the people want it. You know,
Do you have any feeling towards the comics that participated?
I mean, take the check. You know, whatever. I mean, it's not like you're personally propping anything up. Just be careful. You know, because I mean, the main thing is like the people of Saudi Arabia want comedy. As much as they may
Everybody
be
needs it, man.
right, it's just like when you go into oppressive regimes, the people are being repressed too, and they still need to laugh. You know, because I've heard a lot of stories of comics who have gone into these kind of like war-torn countries, and they'll have something, and it's not government sponsored, and it can't, like the government can't really find out about it, and but they'll have huge crowds that are like gathering in the desert so that
Yeah.
they can see like this hour long of their favorite comic from America doing a set for them. You know, so like for that, I'm like,
Like,
whatever.
what-
I don't know.
What are people in North Korea saying to each other to make each other laugh?
I don't.
They're doing something to laugh
If
behind
only
closed
we,
doors.
If only we knew what was going on at all over there, you know.
Have you ever seen the nighttime map of like Korea? And South Korea's lit up like Vegas, and North Korea
Oh,
has
it's just
one
black.
light right where Kim
Yep.
Jong Un's house is. Mm-hmm. But then he does the same thing. He'll invite Dennis Rodman.
Oh, yeah. All
not
of
even
his favorite
young
people.
Dennis Rodman,
All of his-
viral Dennis
I
Rodman.
know.
He invites Burnout.
Yeah, he'll invite his favorite celebrities, so he'll have the world come to him and then not share it with any of his people.
Dennis Rodman has like Hulk Hogan voice syndrome. He's like, yeah, brother, I was over there with with Kim Jong.
His lips that look like they're falling off because they're over pierced, and just like the boy has not aged well, and they're just like every time I look at Dennis Rodman these days, I'm like, fuck.
I don't know if that's really. Hold on, stay tuned, kids. No, I'm terrified because this season, I believe this basketball season is going to be the season that he starts being a commentator. And his whole allure is he's mysterious. You got an interview
Yeah.
with him every 5 months, and it was 3 minutes long. And then he went and he's probably a douche. I heard he's a terrible tipper. He's a mean guy
Yeah,
because
he's
that's
not
what it
like-
takes
he's
to
not
be
like-
number one.
Yeah, he's not like Shaq.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, if he's gonna get on TV now, it's gonna take away all that. Let me think the moon is cheese.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's however many miles away. That's corny. I did want to ask you and get your perspective, and by no means am I saying you're the expert on this, but as far as your perspective, it feels like there's a narrative being painted with the pow-pows that are going on lately. Whether that be at a school or with
The pow-pows?
The pow-pows. I don't know if you're allowed to say. I have to actually check like the YouTube guidelines, what you are and aren't and should and shouldn't say
You say it
in
and
order to
bleep
get
it
the
later.
clicks. Yeah, when it comes to like the shootings, right? Whether it's school
yeah.
shootings, whether it's government, high visibility people getting shot, or tragically churches, nightclubs, whatever. It seems more so lately there's a narrative being painted that's being done by a specific group, the T's and the LGBTs.
Oh yeah.
Or just a part of that entire LGBT spectrum. It feels like the hounds are sniffing that out and saying
they're just trying to
drawing it.
demonize, and the what they're doing is they're inverting the numbers.
Okay. How
So they're taking the numbers of people who are trans, who are being victimized, who are being sexually assaulted, and all those, and they're saying that's the number of sexual assaults that these people are committing. So instead of like, and I don't know if it's like an actual even trade, but everything that I've seen, they're showing that like, oh, they're actually the biggest sexual predators. It's like, no, they're the largest victims and have been for as long as it's been a thing, which has been forever.
Do you think that's transactional? Like somebody, you're born to whatever family, wherever in America, and then if you are a victim of SA, does that like can that push you off into one of those categories?
Like as far as like if you like if you're having like if you become a victim of it, does that like then cause?
Because that has to switch your perspective on life.
It can, but I mean to a certain extent, I think to like if you become a victim of something like that, I think it's generally pretty rare that you then become an assaulter after that point, because it would trigger you. Like it would trigger, like it would bring up those old things of like, oh no, I remember how I felt during this and everything that you fought with.
Because they normally say like bullying starts at the home, right? If there's a high school bully, it's more than likely.
But that's a kid. Like that's like kids getting abused by their parents, and then they're trying to feel like they're powerful because they feel powerless at home. You know, so it's just I mean, could you be like more of a bitch at work? Maybe. You know, could you be like harder to be around?
Sure.
Are you less fun? Sure. Are you then going to then become the same type of abuser that you became? I think that depends on the time that it happened and how protracted it was. You know, like if it was something like, say you're dealing with that as a kid for years and years and years and years, like throughout your entire upbringing, then yeah, you might just have those wires crossed as far as like what is affection versus what is not, and how you show affection could then be, well, yeah, now you're an abuser because you've learned this behavior. But I think that generally takes place in men, and it generally takes place in heterosexual men. Okay. You know, like I feel like generally with gay people, it's harder because it's two dudes. You know, like there's not someone in the relationship who's half your size. You know, Fair. It's like, no, we're both a certain height. We're both more of a muscle build. Like it's just, you can't just throw me across a room. It's not going to work. Yeah. You know, and then when you're talking about people who are trans, they're generally the physically weaker person of the relationship, especially if you're a trans woman, because, you know, then you're doing everything you can not to be muscly, not to be, you know, to be more demure, and you're probably dating someone who is bigger than you, you know, so, or at least stronger than you, who is, you know, so, I mean, yeah, you get put into a worse situation. Also, it's just the fact that you're much more likely to be homeless. You're much more likely to get fired from jobs and all these things, which then
by
just
living
puts
your
you,
truth.
Yeah, which just puts you in a much more vulnerable position. So then you're more likely to be in a situation where you kind of have to ask for something that could put you in danger. You know, as like the reason a lot of it is because a lot of them were going into, you know, sex work, you know, in very precarious situations because no one else would hire them. So it's like, okay, yeah, no one's going to hire you, but you still need to pay rent and you still need to get food and you still need to do, there's just certain things you need and no one's lining up to pay it for you. So yeah, you have to go in that car with that person and hopefully you live.
Wow. Now, now, and you're obviously you're a comic, a comedian, right? And then you know, I love if they laugh, and I love talking to you because I generally feel we have a fun relationship. Normally, whenever I'm talking to you, we're laughing about something absurd, and if there's nothing absurd to laugh at, we point at something and say that's absurd, and we start laughing, right? Yeah. Which I would assume also makes you a fan of comedy. And then you watch like Dave Chappelle go do his thing, and then there was a big to-do, a big kerfuffle behind like his last specials when he's honing in on the categories of sexuality. And when you watch that from the lens of somebody that identifies in that group, or do you watch that out of the lens of like, I'm a comedian, he's trying to be funny, I either laughed or I didn't?
I don't know that I watch that necessarily as like a comic, as if like we're in the, because I really do feel that Dave Chappelle and I are in very different categories because he's one of the greatest to have ever done it.
Yeah,
you know,
I think he transcended joke telling.
Yeah,
at this
he
point.
transcended just stand up. Like he's a stand up, but I mean the guy
it's a flow of consciousness.
He's on another level.
Yeah,
you know, like when I see him, I'm just like, I think it's egotistical to say that he and I are in the same industry, to a certain extent. The man's too good, but like
just the amount of hours he's put into the craft. It's past.
And the fact that the man can just have an idea and he can just go and talk for a half hour, and you know, I mean, he's a different thing.
Because all respect due, if I want to watch comedy to laugh, I'm not putting on Dave Chappelle. Not anymore.
Yeah.
There's a thousand other comics that if I just want to laugh and there's a new special out.
Yeah.
Like if I want to be educated on a topic or get like a high IQ perspective on something with a humorous backlight to it, Dave Chappelle.
Well,
if I want to laugh at some
best
jokes, I'm going over here.
Yeah, then I'm like Michelle Wolf, someone like that.
Tony
But
Roberts,
like, yeah. But like when I listen to Dave Chappelle, I feel like they are jokes for sure, but he'll get you into a thing where you're talking about something, and all of a sudden, just in the middle of it, he'll just snap, and then you're just like, "Oh my god, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard someone say." He will always find that one thing that everyone's saying you can't do that, and then he'll just go stand right in the middle of it. It's like, "Watch me, I'm doing it." And like
his premise is 23 minutes long, and it's a TED talk,
and you're laughing through the premise.
You're laughing through the premise.
The premise is still really
and then
funny.
The punchline is the 30 seconds at the end, and you go, "Oh, this guy
is something else." And when I saw his specials, I did watch them. I was like, people are gonna hate him, but he's not wrong. Like especially when he does like all the alphabet people are in the car, and everything he said about it, I was like, well, he does know us, because that's all real, and like you can't say he's wrong,
right?
And then everything he was saying about trans, I was just like, he's not talking about trans as a category. He's talking about white trans people and white gay people and white people kind of weaponizing their identity, not realizing that as badly as trans and gay people have it, black people have too, you know? And so it's just like, it's that idea of like, well, we're gonna, as LGBT people, we're gonna blow the whistle, and then black people are sitting there going like, I don't know who you think you're blowing the whistle on.
I can't put this in the closet.
Yeah, it's just like it's here. They know me. You know, there's certain aspects, and I think it also depends on what time we're talking about.
Okay.
Because like when I was growing up,
are things better now as opposed to 20, 30 years ago?
Depending where you live. You know,
in Chicago,
in Chicago,
you could be a furry on the street.
Well,
in
but
Chicago
used to not be that much better than a lot of other places. You know, depending because when you were gay, they would say it all. You know,
wait a minute, you're gay?
Sometimes, but it's just like only when I'm currently in the bedroom. But it's just like other than that. I'm just like all of you. But it was like, I think like when I was growing up, I felt it was worse to be gay than it was to be black, because when you were black, they would maybe harbor a belief, but they wouldn't say it.
Gotcha.
Whereas when you're gay, they were going to say it. They're going to say everything. Like the amount of like horrific things that people would just say like directly to my face as if I was just supposed to be okay with it. You know, they would never do that with my race, ever.
Ooh, because then they might lose their job.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought this goofy camera. I might have to.
Is it just running out of battery?
No, because now I have it plugged in, but it just keeps shutting off. I think I might have got hoodwinked. So to a large degree, you're feeling. To a large degree, you're saying that when it comes to the narrative that's being painted right now, and I think by a particular, not governmental, but like by a particular voting base, that are painting the narrative that a lot of the recent like shootings are being done by this particular part of the group. You're saying that in actuality, what looks like victimizing are the actual victims.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, because like every time they're like saying like, oh, well, there's all this trans people are doing violent this, violent that. It's like, okay, where are the pictures of the perpetrators? Where are the police reports? Where's any of the proof behind these claims? And there's never any. It's just a bunch of people online saying, well, this is a thing, and did you know? With nothing else behind it. Whereas like the claims of like straight white male violence is like, oh no, we have police report after police report, picture after picture, incidents after incidents, newsreels, articles, FBI and independent studies showing the numbers, you know. So it's just like one side has all the evidence and the other side has absolutely none and is just throwing it out into the ether. You know, it's just like, how are the... It's just the idea that like when you are looking at like ICE today, like everyone's saying is like, oh, well, you know, the immigrants are violent. It's like, how are the people that are on the most unstable ground going to be the ones who are the most violent? That doesn't make sense. They're going to be the ones that are going to be the best behaved because they're scared of what could happen. You know, whereas like the most violent people and the most criminal people have always been citizens because they're like, you're not going to deport me.
Right.
You know, what are you going to do? And like a trans person is like, well, they know they're not going to get away with it. Like they do something. It's like, well, I'm the only one on my entire block who looks like me. It's not like they're not going to know who it was.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are you talking about? Like I had this roommate and he was only there for like a couple months, but there was this like, one of the other roommates was trying to have these like hip hop parties on our back doorstep, which I eventually had to be like, dude, this is not an event space. Please stop this. But so there was this guy, he was like this little bit older, like probably like, you know, 40, but like older than all of the other people that were at the party. Like my height, twice my size, white dude with a red cap. Like going around, walking around, not the red cap, but a red cap.
But any red cap right now is the red. Yeah. Boston Red Sox, watch out.
Well, then he walks out the back, sees that all this is happening. He's like, "Oh, it's a good party out there." I was like, "Okay, cool, bye." Because I have to leave. I had a show that night, so I was like, I left, and I come back, and apparently he had walked out and smacked a bunch of girls' asses, like 7 girls. Runs out the back, and we're all sitting there. It's just like, you were the only one who looked like you at the entire party, and you live here, so you had to come back. Like, they told us who did it. You're the only white guy at the entire party,
and you pulled the 19-year-old
and you're taller
homecoming prank.
Yeah, and you're taller than all of these people. And then you went and grabbed, and then they chased him. He ran. He got away. I was like, well, what are you gonna do with him if you caught him anyway? He's bigger than all of you.
Yeah.
But like, still, it was just like, it's like, how did you think you were gonna get away with this?
Just wait here. He left his hot pocket in the microwave.
Right, like he's like, if you just stay here long enough, he doesn't have another place to sleep. You know. So I was sitting there, just, and it's the same thing with this kind of stuff. It's like, you're gonna know who it is.
Yeah.
You know, and there was like this one girl, she was working with me, and she was talking about Rainbow Beach, and she was like, because there was a lot of Latinos there, and she was like, this older woman, very problematic, and she was like, I was walking there, and I just felt like I was walking through South America, and I had to think about it. Do I turn around? Do I turn around because I don't feel safe? And then I was like, but this is my country, so I need to stay. And I'm sitting there, I was just like, girl, what did you think they were going to do? Like, really? Like, what do you think they were going to do? One, they're not going to get away with it. You're a white woman.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to get away with it.
Very specific rules when you have those dynamics.
And
like,
they know ICE is all over the place.
And they know that.
And they know they're deporting citizens.
They'll send tanks to that neighborhood.
Yeah, honey, no.
Yeah.
Like, you were fine.
Yeah.
You were actually
absolutely.
fine. And then you kept running, though, right? He's like, yeah, did anything happen? No. I'm like, yeah, because you're an idiot. You know, so it's like that same thing. It's just like, how are the people on the least stable ground all of a sudden going to be doing the most audacious things? Like, no, they just got used to having jobs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
No, absolutely. To go back to play devil's advocate, because is there a part of it that seems to me, all right, to play devil's advocate, there's a part of it that seems to me a very small part, but I entertain the idea that it's performative, because in my mind, these days with the phone and with how many people have podcasts or a channel or they're getting views on there, it's like, what sets me apart? And in every culture, in every walk of life, it's like, what sets me apart? What makes me different? Why do I stand out?
I will say, I don't think so on trans, because there's too many things that go to it. There's medical aspects to it, and that's a lot of headache to go through. I think non-binary, there are definitely people out there that are saying that they're they, them, so that they can throw that on stage or on a podcast or just seem interesting, you know, because they're like, well, I was kind of bisexual. And then they realize, oh, that's not cool enough. And then there's, you know, and then there's like the people who are like just heteronormative and they're like, I'm bi. And you ask them, it's like, okay, what have you done? It's like, well, I sucked a dick once and I kind of thought about it again, but I haven't acted on it. It's like, you're not bi. Like, you can, I mean, like, sure, identify however you want.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I think there is a lot of, like, I think it's like those periphery LGBT people. Like, it's the people, like, who are kind of like the, I'm a little queer, or, you know, and if you want to, like,
Just
there's
a
some
sprinkle.
people, yeah, there's some people who are just like, look, I actually just like pink hair and nail polish and I'm straight, and I'm just like, okay, fine, love you.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think that there is a certain group that is maybe hyping up their titles a little more. But I do think, like, when you're talking about, I mean, when you're talking about gay, I mean, the people are then like, okay, so then you're gay.
Sure.
So, like, so that they're expecting that you're going to be gay, right? So it's kind of hard to say that because there's proof pieces that go along with that. I think with, like, trans, then you have, like, the hormone blockers and, like, you're seeing a doctor, and also that's a lot of risk to take on, like walking around the world as a trans person just for the sake of attention. Like, I'm not going to say no one's done it. I don't think it's like a thing, though.
I got you. I one of my favorite things about Chicago is there's so many different people doing different things and living their lives, and there's so many people in the city that if somebody's doing whatever it is that they're doing, they're not typically going to get a big reaction unless it's like an out-of-towner that sees
no one
them.
cares.
Nobody
That's the
cares.
thing. Nobody cares.
That's what I want for anybody in any walk of life, no matter what it is. If you walk up to me, we're on the street, and you're about to ask me for directions, and you're wearing a Batman outfit, and you just go, hey, do you know which way is north? I'm trying to find Belmont. I go, yeah, it's right up there 2 blocks, and then cut a left. But if you walk up to me, hey, do you know which way is north? I got to hop on the bus to save Gotham, because you could tell I'm Batman. It's like, you fucking douchebag. Just be Batman, and I'll give you the directions.
Right.
But don't make a big deal about being Batman. You think you're special? Huh?
But
What are you,
even
a New
then,
Yorker?
I'll just sit there and just stare at them like, yeah, it's that way. It's like it is very hard to make me flinch. Like,
Exactly.
you could just be like, you could walk up in the craziest things, like, hey, how do I get over here? Okay, so write this down.
Yeah.
Let me show you how to get there.
And when you get there, tell them I sent you. They'll give you a shot of Malort.
Yeah, like, I don't care.
Do me a favor, Queenie. Let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on around the city, anything you have coming up that you want to push out there. Please let the folks know.
Let's see. So we have the Windy City Comedy Fest. We just had it in August.
Roaring success.
Yeah, roaring success, honestly. We have big announcements coming. We can't do them yet. But we did film a special for our friend Kevin Kellum over at Lincoln Hall. Yes. And we are probably, when it's done being edited, which we don't have a date, we're probably going to be doing that at NBC Towers. That's going to be a lot of fun. Mostly because Kevin works with Q101 and they're over there, so they were able to do it. But with that, we're going to have that next August again. We're doing all the work to make that happen. You can find me at Queeny Comedy on Instagram. That's Queeny with a Y. Other than that, I don't know. I do shows.
Queeny, she does shows. Mike Night Comedy, Real Rap Podcast. Too many people booked up, so the episodes are coming fast and furious, like Tyrese Gibson. Made it this far. Please like, share, subscribe.
I was like, if you know who
I
that
apologize. That was dated myself.
And reference.
And early 2000s. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Keep coming back for more. Queenie's dope. Please check out everything she's got going on. And the Kevin McCallum special was also dope. So stay tuned. Keep coming back. Mike Knight, Queenie, Real Rap Podcast. Peace. I really